Hello and welcome back to How About That Crypto. You're watching your daily crypto news and updates with your host, Bitcoin Stylist on Twitter and Bitcoin Hairstylist on Instagram. I am here Monday through Friday and I explain crypto and Web3 while keeping you up to date on all of the latest. Today's news stories are: Russia says it has a replacement for SWIFT, and China and India are eyeing alternatives as well. The European Union proposes crypto regulation, but then it gets shot down, for now at least. All that and more. And if you like the content, please let me know by leaving a comment below. And please like and subscribe and click the bell if you're watching on YouTube, and give me 5 stars if you're listening on podcast. Just to be clear and litigious, this is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. You could use the links in the description below to do your own research. All right, let's jump in. CryptoBriefing.com reports Russia's central bank chief says alternative to SWIFT already in place. Russia's central bank governor has said that its global payments will continue to function despite the SWIFT ban. The central bank chief said Russia's SPFS, an internally developed payment system, will replace SWIFT. Meanwhile, reports say the Russian government is working on a one world digital currency for global trade. Now, as mentioned in the past few episodes, the US and the EU have removed Russia banks from the SWIFT system, which stands for Society for Worldwide Interbanking Financial Telecommunications. It's an interbank messaging system used for global fund transfers. It's not as fast and secure as crypto, but the US has way more control, and the US and the EU has influence over it also. In light of this, the ruble plunged by 30% against the dollar, and there are only 23 banks connected to the SPFS system, which is the Russian alternative, compared with 11,000 banks that are connected to SWIFT. I couldn't find much on this one world digital currency. I have heard rumors of a digital currency backed by physical assets. I have yet to find anything more on any of this. Plus, I'm not sure I trust Russia or China to not debase that currency, like lying about the physical reserves. But wait, there's more. India and China have both signed currency swap and trade deals. Bloomberg Quint reports that the India moles. The article's called India Moles Alternative Payment Route as Some Russian Banks Are Barred from SWIFT. Indian Moles Alternative SWIFT ban will force India to circumvent it, basically. So due to India building up their trade over the last couple of years with Russia, they are going to need to continue to trade with Russia as they have created a reliance. Yes, India has been an ally for a long time. In the last few years, China and India have increased trade and currency swaps. China's move is more about taking down the US dollar dominance over time, and India seems to be more about opening up their trading options. So India also circumvented Iran sanctions. So I have a little excerpt here. In light of the Iranian circumventing Iranian sanctions, it says a relatively smaller Indian bank, which was limited to transactions with global banks, especially in the US, was chosen for such transaction to escape any strictures from these countries. A similar proposal may be considered for Russian bilateral trade with India. According to the first of the two bankers quoted above, a key issue will be determining the exchange rate and ensuring adequate liquidity is converting ruble into rupees directly. Since bilateral trade agreements between the two countries is larger than India's dealings with Iran, the domestic government and central bank will have to consider what can be done to deal with the exchange rate risk. Bilateral trade between India and Russia between April 20th and March 2021 April of 2020 and March of 2021 amounted to $8 billion. Indian exported amounts at $2 billion and imported from Russia $5.48 billion. So these are sizable trade between the two countries, and it seems like India does not plan on stopping trade with Russia over this Ukrainian conflict. This seems to be an issue with Europeans and the U.S. and some other of their allies. And it looks like India may or may not decide to participate. We will keep an eye on that. So the USA ability to shut down the banking system other than on their own people is getting tested. So like, can the US and the Europe really control the financial system through the SWIFT system? It seems like that is being tested. And it seems to be quite mighty, but major trading countries are circumventing it slowly. So we will watch this thing unfold. Crypto has been discussed in this regard as far as getting around sanctions. However, there has not been any real data to support that that's actually happening yet. So we'll keep watching. And this segues into the next story. Crypto bans or heft regulations will seemingly primarily only hurt the people of the countries in which those rules are placed. So if the US and the European Union propose strict rules, then the question, it's doubtful that that'll actually harm Russia or the people trying to get around Russia, around the Russian sanctions. So really what it'll do is just hurt the people financially in the countries of those. So that means the US citizens and European citizens are most likely to take the brunt of heavy regulation. Now, it seems so for now. Now we are in the fog of war, so it's tough to see through. So it's really gonna have to keep an eye on this, and I might have to retract some of the things that I say as the fog of war clears up. Both sides of this conflict seem to be doing things that cause their reports to be in question. And so I do believe there may be some information wars going on here. So we will keep things up to speed with you. But as of now, this is what it all looks like. Yahoo Finance reports from CoinDesk, the EU parliamentarians push to limit Bitcoin use over energy concern. The EU is in the midst of this war. This war is raging on their borders, but in the meantime, they're trying to regulate crypto. Markets and Crypto Assets, or MICA for short, package aims to regulate crypto, make a licensing system, regulate stable coins, and limit the use of proof of work mining. As I mentioned in the past, proof of work mining is the consensus protocol, which is used to verify transactions and secure the network for Bitcoin and Ethereum. This does use quite a bit of energy, and there has been a big debate over its energy usage. The question is, can we get this energy from sustainable, renewable sources? This MICA package they want these projects, these proof of work mining projects, to be small, so maybe so that they don't compete with national currencies. So you could do it, but you got to keep it small, not big enough to blow up and become something bigger than the euro or the dollar. Now, that is my speculation. We will see how, if any more information about that comes on. It could just be that they are just worried about energy usage, but a lot of these critics are coming up and saying that there are ways to do this other than banning it, but that's more of that in a second. It says, instead of forcing their hand as mining operations expand, they could be responsible for bringing online more renewable energy projects. It does not have to be banned. Now, Bitcoin.com reports, and I got that for you right here. And if you're listening on podcasts, you can check out all the links below so you can see what these articles I'm pulling up. Bitcoin.com reports European Parliament to cancel the vote on crypto asset framework. And the European Parliament will not hold a planned vote on crypto regulations after texts that can be interpreted as an attempt to ban coins with energy-intensive mining sparked negative reactions. The lawmaker leading the legislative effort says the matter needs clarification before MEPs can have a say, but the head of the ECB, or European Central Bank, has insisted that Europe should move quickly to prevent Russia from evading sanctions. So why does there have to be this rule? Why now on the proof of work mining? It says, why would the language of a bill that is seen as necessary to prevent Russia from skirting sanctions discuss banning or limiting energy use in proof of work mining. Again, this is something that will only financially hurt Europeans. A ban on the energy use of proof of work mining will have nothing to do with the sanctions on Russia, because they can only have jurisdiction in their country. That means only European citizens will be limited in benefiting from being part of the mining process. In light of this, opposition demands removal or clarification and debate to prevent Russia from, a debate on this specific part. So opposition and critics of this language say, whoa, wait a minute, like we can get these other regulations through, but this language looks like it's an outright ban or going to limit it so much it is essentially a ban. So the socialist parties and the green parties, along with a few of the countries, are very upset about this. A vote is expected later this year after more conversation can be had. Most critics want a legal framework. Other ideas besides mining for bootstrapping renewable energies is to carbon cap them and force them to trade carbon credits. This helps companies that are actively reduce emissions to profit off of that, just like Tesla makes the majority of their profits from selling those carbon credits due to their lower energy use, and they're able to sell their credits to other companies that aren't as good on that end. So what do you think will happen with all of this? What do you think will happen with all this? And do you think that the EU trying to push, what do you think about like the fact that the EU is trying to push crypto regulations in the midst of a war? Is this a good sign for crypto? Could this be considered bullish in your opinion? What about the ideas of managing proof of work mining energy? Do you have any other ideas other than bootstrapping renewable projects or putting carbon emission caps on them? I'd love to hear about your ideas. Tell me about it. Leave a comment below, like and subscribe, and have a good day. And I'll talk to you all tomorrow. Hodl on.